The time is 3:00 p.m. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Rules, Administration, and Procedure Committee for the City of Aurora. Today's date is August 19th, 2025. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Chairperson Edward J. Bug.
Here.
Vice Chair Daniel Barrero.
Here.
Alderman Javier Benuelos.
Here.
Alderwoman Shweta Bade.
Here.
Alderman at Large Will White.
Here.
5 present.
Excellent. Thank you very much. First order of business is the approval of the minutes, 25-0614, approval of minutes for the RAP Committee meeting held on August 4th, 2025. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion from Alderwoman Bade.
Second.
Second from Alderman Benuelos. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it 5-0. Clerk, is there anyone for public comment today?
Yes, we do. We have one.
Okay. Please read the rules for public comment.
Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, all persons shall be permitted an opportunity to address public officials under the rules established and recorded by the council. Under our rules, any person may address the RAP Committee for up to 3 minutes with a maximum of 30 minutes allotted for all public comment. No person other than the timekeeper or the chair, for the purpose of maintaining order, may interrupt a person recognized for public comment during his or her comments. Members of the RAP Committee shall not engage with nor respond to a speaker during the time set aside for public comments. Staff is directed to follow up with members of the public with respect to any concerns raised during public comments.
Please call the first name.
Our first speaker would be Austin Fitzcorbett.
Good afternoon. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
Thank you, Alderman Bug. My name is Austin Fitzcorbett. I am a resident of Ward 4 and a pretty active member in the community. I haven't made a public comment here before, and I thought about writing a little rap since you're the RAP Committee, but I thought better of it, so you don't have to deal with that. I came to talk today about a topic that is somewhat humorous, but is a real topic, backyard chickens. I know it's a topic you've been discussing. I sent an email to each of you on August 6th with the information that I'll talk about today. There's interactive maps in that email based on some research that I did last summer. So backyard chickens, if we look at the Quad County area, we have 50 municipalities, cities and villages that allow backyard chickens and 44 that don't. So we are in the minority there. Naperville is the largest, the most populous that does, and we are the most populous that does not. We have the greatest potential fine for having backyard chickens of any municipality in the Quad County area, and many of our surrounding neighbors allow them. I tried to look into the history of our ordinance, and I think it's old enough where it's kind of lost the time of exactly why that farm animals ordinance exists, and it was probably for good reason. And I think it's on y'all to explore that and determine if it's worth changing or not. Cultural attitudes have changed. Waste management practices have changed, and the needs of our families have changed. If we consider a recent Kane County health report that showed that 40% of our households with minor-aged children struggle with food scarcity, the eggs that come from hens may seem more palatable. If we consider a statewide waste study that showed that food waste is our largest portion of residential waste, the ability for backyard chickens to clean up food waste may seem more palatable as well. And if we consider Aurora's sustainability plan, which has been in development for years to make us more self-sufficient, environmentally conscious together as a community, again, some of the concerns may seem more palatable, but I put together a lot of facts and research last summer about the Quad County area, and I'd like if you guys took the opportunity to look at that and consider some of our neighboring areas. And here in my last 40 seconds, I'll state that one big reason I'm here is that I don't think we should have ordinances that aren't enforced fairly. If you walk around my neighborhood on the west side, you're gonna find backyard chickens, and you're gonna find communities of people and families that don't know they shouldn't have them, and families that know that the rule isn't enforced. We should either enforce the ordinance or we shouldn't. I think the facts speak in favor of allowing for backyard chickens, but that's up to y'all. I would just ask that we as a city consider fairly enforcing ordinances, especially backyard chickens. We either allow them or we don't, and I think that should be a fair expectation to our community members. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Clerk, do we have any other speakers today?
No one else has signed up.
Excellent, thank you. We are going to move forward Actually, we're going to skip down to the held item. That's 25-0605, discussion on Chapter 9, Article 9-11, 11, Section 9-15 as it pertains to backyard chickens. We're going to have our director of our animal control come forward and just kind of present to us, give us some insight on this matter. We talked a little bit on the phone the other day, so we appreciate you being here. Go ahead and please state your name for the record, and we'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name's Cameron DeBoer. I'm the Animal Control Manager for the City of Aurora.
Okay. So my understanding, I talked to, of course, to you. I also talked to Property Standards. So right now, the enforcement of the ordinance that we have on the books falls to animal control. And our understanding is the Property Standards really does not. They just really defer everything to you.
Correct,
So-
yeah. If they see chickens, they'll let us know and we enforce.
Okay, okay. So please go ahead and talk a little bit about the types of calls you get, the types of calls that you see when you or your inspectors go out, and we can kind of start there, and we'll get into a discussion.
For
So,
sure.
please.
So we do field quite a few chicken calls throughout the city. There's different reasonings for each one. Usually it's a neighbor that's annoyed for one reason or another, whether it be there's a rooster making noise or chickens getting off their property, the smell, things like that. We do get them pretty frequently. When those happen, we go out, we speak to the homeowner, and we let them know, hey, you cannot have farm animals. They need to be rehomed. Usually we give them about a week to do that because we don't have a place to put chickens at our facility. So we try to help them just get them rehomed so that way it's a little safer for the chickens. But whenever we hear about them, we make sure that they are removed as soon as possible.
Okay. And so tell us a little bit about, in one part of our discussion last week or 2 weeks ago, chicken calls versus rooster calls, and kind of just your insight on the number of those. I have some numbers that I'll share here in a second, but just those types of calls.
Yeah, so definitely, usually we find out about chickens because there is a rooster, because they're louder, so the neighbors hear them. You know, you don't want to be woken up by a cock-a-doodle-doo every morning. So usually that's how people realize that a neighbor might have a chicken or a coop of some kind. We do have people that find just hens as well. Usually it's when hens are just getting off the property and running around, or the smell that's coming from a backyard. So that's really the only way we find hens. Usually they don't hear the hens, but they hear the roosters. I would definitely say usually it's the rooster that tips people off that they're there, but there definitely are instances of the smell or them just running around and perching on people's houses where they find out.
Okay. So to add into this, so we have the total number of calls, and I believe this was added to our Legistar item. So the total number of chicken calls last year, 2024, was 33. And this year, just through, say, August 1, we already have 43. So we have surpassed all of last year by 10. We have almost a half a year left. So can you say the reason why you think there are more calls at this time is we're just, they've always been there, we're just finding them now and they're getting called in? Or
Yeah.
have you seen any trends on why the uptick in calls?
I definitely think we're seeing a lot more this year, and I believe more people are getting them. So we don't have the manpower to go door to door and check if people have chickens, but it is kind of polarizing with neighbors, it seems. So more people are getting them, therefore more are being noticed. We're also seeing some instances of people who are being removed from their house and there's chickens in the backyard that no one knew about. So we just took in 14 about a week ago with that. So I do think, unfortunately, not many people know you're not supposed to have chickens, or farm animals in general. So when we do find people have it, we try to educate, and they have no idea. And I think there might be a correlation as well of rising grocery prices. People want to get chickens to offset it, and don't realize they're not supposed to have them. So I can definitely say, just based off of what our officers have been doing, we've seen a lot more this year. And people are usually pretty good about, oh, we're so sorry, rehoming them right away, which is very nice.
Okay. I'm going to open it up here in a second for the committee, but let me start because, of course, your major domain is with our pets, so our dogs and our cats. And we hope that all of our residents who have dogs and cats are getting them registered through your office. And most people know that they are supposed to do that. Even if they don't know, I think they kind of have blinders on a little bit. I think most municipalities, in some way, you have to register your dog or your cat. You definitely have to register with the county with the rabies shots and that. So, so at your facility, do you have any type of signage promotion? Chickens are not allowed in the city of Aurora, or any flyer, anything that would help people with that?
No, not currently.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I would have to disagree. I don't think a large majority of citizens know they're supposed to register, which is why we've been really pushing these past 2 years.
Okay.
We actually doubled it last year. People tend to get confused because they get their county tag and they think that's the tag they needed, and then forget they're supposed to come to us as well. So we don't, unfortunately, have a lot of foot traffic through the door. They can also register online, so they don't even have to come in.
Right.
But we do try to put it on our website. The ordinance is right up top. And then, of course, when people ask or we hear them talking about it, we try to educate. But we do not currently have anything in the facility that is posted that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to open it up to the committee members if you have any questions for.
Yeah, I have a question. Do you see an influx of predatory animals in the areas of chickens, maybe like coyotes or anything like that?
I would definitely say in the past year or so, we've seen an influx of coyotes, coyote sightings, which, can be very concerning for people. Coyotes aren't going to hurt you, but chickens are not the most defensive animals, so they're easy pickings for coyotes. So they're going to go where the easiest food is. So we definitely see in the areas where we get chicken calls, more coyote sightings are in those areas.
Okay. And Alderman White.
So you mentioned that maybe a week ago you took in 14 chickens.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do with them, considering you don't have the facility to keep them?
So since that was a weird situation where the homeowner was completely gone, we took them in and we had to house them in airline carriers, and then our staff had to basically call in favors to find farms for them outside of the city limits. When that happens, usually it's just our staff making phone calls to hopefully find someone that can take them, because we can house them in an airline carrier, but it's not ideal. So we try to get them out the door as fast as we can.
So I do have a follow-up question. So then, to properly house chickens that you take in, you would need a different additional infrastructure built to accommodate.
Yeah, if we were planning to have to take in more chickens, I definitely think that would be something that needs to be discussed. Usually it's one or two that we end up taking in that we find, and it's a little bit easier to get them placed. But with larger flocks, it's much more difficult, because if you've got more roosters, people only want one rooster per flock. So they're not going to get placed as easily. You need to find one that doesn't have roosters or has a setup where they can be separated. If it's hens, again, it's a little bit easier, but again, we have to find someone outside of the city that can take them. There is a chicken rescue, but they usually cannot take them from us. So we would need somewhere safe to house them for longer periods of time while we try to find a way out.
Got it, thank you.
Any other question? Alderman Bay?
Thank you, Chairman. You mentioned that if some complaints are there, somebody goes and checks the residents and then you give them instructions to rehome. Currently, like after 5 days, do you go back and check if they were rehoused?
Yes.
Rehomed?
Yeah, so we will go back and check the address, make sure that there's no more chickens there, ensure that they were given to somewhere outside of the city limits. If they are still there, then we will impound, the person gets tickets, all that.
And you have capacity to check this throughout the city?
Unfortunately, those investigation calls fall a little bit lower, so we can't guarantee we're going to be able to get out on the same day unless the animal is in danger. Because we only have 3 officers. We have 2 between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m., and then 1 that goes to 11. We try to fit everything into the day, but if it's a busy call day, it could get pushed off. And also, if someone is complaining about an address, I can't guarantee that's the correct address. So last week we had one where someone was complaining about a rooster. They thought they had the right address, but it ended up halfway down the block. So our officer went door to door, then finally found the rooster. So we have to have enough time to really go door to door to complete those calls. Otherwise, we get kind of stuck. You know, we don't know where it is, so we just hope that maybe next time if they find an address that's different, maybe that's the address.
And for my understanding, what happens during winter times? Are they supposed to be inside the main structure or they stay outside?
Well,
If we go,
yeah, in my experience, I've never had chickens myself, but usually they'll put heating lamps to keep them warm. Obviously, you wouldn't want them out because they could get hurt. But yeah, it's not a huge endeavor from what I've seen from family friends. But you do have to take some extra precautions to make sure they're warm enough and not freezing.
okay, thank you.
Alderman
Chairman?
Burrow?
I have a question. So the calls that you got, is this, are these different calls or are they different properties? You know, can we say that this is the number of properties that have, you see what I'm saying? Is it like, how do you, if you have like 5 calls for one house, is that 5, you
It's-
see, how do you track that? I'm just trying to sort how many people are having
Yeah,
chickens.
unfortunately, there's not a great way to. Our new system has a way to do that, but we haven't gotten to that feature yet. Most of the time, it's different addresses. I will say there was a repeat offender we couldn't get a hold of and couldn't prove it was their chickens. But most of the time, it is separate addresses that we go to. We give them that warning, they get rid of the chickens, and it's done. So I'd say probably 75% are completely separate addresses.
And the ones where the chickens were loose, they didn't have the proper pen for them?
They did. When we finally caught them, the hens were actually up on people's roofs. It wasn't a coop per se. It was kind of a shanty that they'd try to corral them in at night. And, you know, I couldn't prove it was a coop unless I went in there, and they didn't want us to go in there. So during the day, they let them out in the yard with a fence that was probably about that high, and they just jump it and go run around the streets. So in order, if you're going to let them free range in your backyard, you got to have something on top of it so they won't get out. And that's usually where you see them running around, is they're free range and just kind of go where they please during the day, and they put them in at night.
You had mentioned the smell, and so what is that situation where they just weren't cleaning up anything?
Yeah, a well-maintained coop usually doesn't smell, but if it's not well-maintained, it's going to stink. Same thing, it's going to attract predators or mice, things like that. If in a perfect world you're doing everything you need to for a coop, people probably won't notice that they're back there. But if you're not doing things correctly, that's when you start seeing the smells and more predators or more things coming in to pick up whatever feed they can find. So that's usually how we find out, is because things are not properly maintained. So more things come in and tip neighbors off.
Have you got any calls regarding the mice or anything like that as an outcome of having not having it clean?
Not usually. We don't really deal with mice, so if people call about them, we just refer them to a trapper.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there's people, like you said, people complain about the smell and they're not maintaining it properly. Did they complain about other things?
The instances or the call that I can think of were they were complaining about the smell. It was just when they're in their backyard, that's all they could smell. They couldn't barbecue because it was just too stinky. They did not say anything about the mice. Usually when people, there's rodent issues or whatever, we just refer them to a trapper to try to get rid of them. So I can't think of off the top of my head a complaint that involves mice with chickens.
Thank you.
Thank you. In closing, in this discussion, I want to follow up on Alderman Barrera. So in doing some checking on this, and I asked, of course, in the city you are not allowed to have it at this time, but if you lived in an unincorporated area, you could. So I asked my relative who lives in an unincorporated area off of Jericho Road, so the city is literally yards from her house, about the person who has chickens on her street. And they have a coop, and the woman, wanted to start to do that, kind of with the prices going up. She did it for 2 years, and she said she had to shut it down. Her yard and area was inundated with mice. She kept upgrading and to confine the chickens, to confine the feed, and since the mice knew where it was, that location, they just kept coming back. And so she shut down her whole operation. They had it for 2 years. It was a totally legal operation by, I guess that's Aurora Township rules and regulations. But she just said, I couldn't do it. It was too much. So definitely the mice. And I when I went and asking about this information, I had no idea. I was more concerned about coyotes and thinking about where I live. But and learning that, I was very surprised, and it was very enlightening. So, any other questions or comments this time? Okay, we are going to no action needed. Again, this is still on discussion. We're going to hold it one more week. The petitioner has been invited. She could not make it today. She's not also going to not be able to make it in 2 weeks. So at that time, we may make a motion to completely remove it, or just where we're at that point. So,
Chairman Bug, I have at the end of the month, have a neighborhood group, and then the first Saturday, have a neighborhood group meeting. And my intention was to bring this up at those.
Okay.
So we
Yeah,
just have a little.
thank you, Cameron. Thank you so
I
much.
think one more,
Okay.
holding it one more, I think would give enough time.
Sounds good.
At least for me, anyway. Thank you.
All right. All right, we're going to go back up to 25-0610, resolution authorizing the appointments of Ricardo Herrera, Amy Flores, Asavi Chosky, Alex Feinberg, Ava DeWig, and Alex Teo to the Aurora Youth Council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I believe staff's going to step forward and tell us a little bit about our fantastic youth and this great council.
Yes, good afternoon, Rep Committee. Thank you, Chairman. Yes, we have 6 new appointees. As many of you know, we are seniors once they're, Simon Rodriguez, Youth Services Manager. I'm also the staff liaison for the Aurora Youth Council. And we had a record 9 seniors last year that all graduated and went on to amazing things. So we needed to fill those vacancies. So happy to report that 6 of the 9 will be appointed with this approval. Alex Teo and Ricardo Herrera are both East Aurora High School students. Amy Flores is a West Aurora student. Asvi Chakshi is a Matia Valley student. Alex Feinberg is a Marmion Academy student. And Ava Duig is one of our at-large positions. As we know, we do have an at-large position, but she attends Caneland High School. So I think those are the 6. I don't know if there are any questions from the...
So we will have 3 vacant positions?
Yes, and the 3 vacancies, thank you, Alderwoman. We still currently have a vacancy for Rosary, Aurora Christian, and Batavia. And I always mention to our alder people, if you know of any families, I know sometimes Batavia and Caneland are tough because there's only so many families, Aurora families that live in that district, but please give them my contact information. We'd love to. We have reached out to our representatives at those schools to hopefully get some students to apply.
Okay. Go ahead, Alderwoman Page.
Thank you, Chairman. So if these 3 schools, there are no representation, can Wabansi Valley student apply?
Good question. So no, as it currently is structured, there are seats, specific seats for specific schools with 1 at-large position. Each school gets 1 representative. However, our 4, what I like to call our big schools, based on their populations, have 2 representatives each, and that's East Aurora, West Aurora, Matia Valley, and Wabansi Valley. And those are all, there are no vacancies currently for Wabansi Valley. However, we do have currently two seniors for this upcoming school year. So next school year, we'll have 2 vacancies for Wabansi. And we'll do a better job of informing our alder people prior to our seniors graduating. So if you know students from your communities, we'd love for them to apply.
Thank you.
And they can actually apply at any time, and we can hold their application until there's the vacancy. So we can accept applications at all times.
Okay, thank you so much, Simon. And we already have a motion and second. Well, I'll make sure we mention that at the Aurora Education Commission to those superintendents over those areas.
Absolutely.
And they can get it over to their high school principals.
Yes, thank you,
So
Chairman.
we have a motion second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. Next matter is 25-0645, resolution authorizing the appointment of Latanya Remy, Mary Foltz to the African American Heritage Advisory Board.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion from Alderman
Second.
Spade, second from Alderman Barrero. Anyone from staff going to speak on this matter?
Hello, my name is Nicholas Richard Thompson, Deputy Chief of Staff for the Mayor's Office. Yes, so we have these 2 appointments here. They met with the chair of the African American Heritage Advisory Board, Curtis Wilson, and the board had decided to go forward with it. I met with them, know them both through their community work and the businesses that they own, and we are supportive of their appointment to the board. And I can answer any questions about them. Ms. Reem is here today, so if there's also questions directly to her, you can ask those as well.
Chairman? Bug.
Question, Alderman.
Yeah, I have a bug. I'm sorry, I have a question. The composition of the board, is it by ward? We get people from all different parts of the city on this?
I can check the exact breakdown. So on Granicus, it shows some of the members' wards, and others it doesn't. I'd have to check in and follow. But as of right now, a majority of the members are Aurora residents. I think there's only 1 individual who's not an Aurora resident. And then it from what I can see, it is a pretty diverse, like there's folks from different wards across the community. But if you want those exact numbers, I can get that to you as well.
No, I'm just curious. I think that's always a good goal, to try to have representation throughout the city.
Throughout the community, yep.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Oh, I agree 100%.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. Ms. Remy, can you please stand and introduce yourself, wave? Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Hi, I'm Latanya Remay, and I own JJ and Mimi's Custom Meals on Wheels and JJ and Mimi's Custom Meals. And we are in Ward 10 as far as our restaurant, and I live in Ward 7.
Excellent, excellent.
You're welcome.
Welcome to the board. We know you'll do great things.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item on the agenda, 25-0654, resolution appointing Alderman Ted Masiacos, Alderman Carl Franco, and Alderman-at-Large Will White to the Aquatics Advisory Council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Can I vote on that or no?
I don't think so.
I don't think you can, but.
Actually, well, I'll let our fair attorney answer that legally if you can, but, go ahead.
I do not vote on that. You would recuse yourself, sorry, I didn't know if the mic was on.
Okay. So, Mr. Thompson, go ahead and take it away.
Yes, so in odd years, it's 2025. The City of Aurora has 3 appointments to the board. We discussed this with Jennifer Paprocki, the CNO Executive Director of the Fox Valley Park District, and made sure we looked at the old ordinance, and we've updated some language. It's the Aquatics Advisory Council. Previously, it was called a board, but it's actually the Aquatics Advisory Council. And the mayor has spoke with all the other people who are being appointed, and would like to move forward with those appointments. But I can answer any other questions regarding that.
Excellent. Yeah. Alderman Burrow.
So are these, they don't have staggered, are these 2-year appointments? There's no staggered appointments?
Yeah, they're 2-year appointments, and then what happens is, so in even years, the board, the Fox Valley Park District will appoint 2, and then in odd years, the City of Aurora will appoint 3 of the vacancies. So they are staggered, so there will be members who are coming on, and members are coming off in the next year.
Okay. So I just wanted to comment a little bit on this because I had discussed this with 2 administrations ago, so quite a while ago. So the little history on this. The appointments from the Alderman's office on the Aquatics Board. There were concerns, and we won't have any concerns now, but there were concerns because the appointment, the person appointed, and actually persons appointed from the Alderman's office, those people never went to the pool. They did not have a season pass. They had never been to the pool. So, at least from my standpoint, and discussing that with the former administrations, those aldermen really weren't speaking from a level of knowledge, firsthand knowledge. We would be discussing things, and I would sometimes go to those meetings, although I was not the person on the board. And of course, if you've never been to the pool before, like I said, a lack of firsthand knowledge on a lot of things. So that was a number of years ago, and we came forward, and we had hoped that, actually at that time when Alderman Masiacos' kids were younger, we were hoping that he was going to be placed on the board, but they did not do that at that time. So again, for I would say the last 2 decades, we've had people who just did not go to our pools on the aquatics board. So I am very glad that we have people who have that opportunity. We're not saying that any aldermen have to buy a season pass, but at least that they frequent the pool at least one time. And I have some free passes, so if you want them, you can have them, or you can wrestle them away from my kids. But yeah, I think this is a great thing to have people with firsthand knowledge, and we're going to be more involved, and I think everyone will be much better off in the long run. So, any other questions or comments on this? We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it 5-0. 4-0. Oh yeah, we got an abstention there. And then in closing, thank you, Mr. Thompson. we have 25-0595, resolution authorizing the Ward 10 Residential Grant Program. Alderwoman Bate, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, committee, for giving me the opportunity to present today. This grant program I started with my first term when I became an alderwoman, and with every term you have to renew this. That's why it came to the RAP committee. The 10th Ward alderwoman shall receive, review, and approve requests for grants for community enhancements and/or improvements in 10th Ward. The program without limitations will be geared around the following: enhancements and/or improvements and/or significant repairs or replacement which affect the community, such as landscaping, pond maintenance, including aerators, diffusers, existing damaged guardrails, neighborhood water drainage issues, safety lighting, or infrastructure projects for the community use. The second one is demonstrate a benefit for the immediate area and/or community benefit. And the third thing is promote the character, safety, and integrity of the neighborhood and community. And if any of the community members come together or their HOA sends an application, there are certain rules they have to follow, and they're all mentioned here. If you would like, I can read all of the rules, otherwise they are in the Register. There is no change in the grant program. It is exactly the same as it was first time. And I think it's a great grant program for our residents. And I publicize it in my newsletter every year. And I also let the residents be aware of this program at my community meetings and events. If there are any questions.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from the committee? Okay, I have one comment, and we had discussion with the other aldermen when they brought theirs forward. So when, I believe it was Ward 5, I believe we mentioned it with Alderman Barrow with Ward 1, when they are seeking bids, and we have suggested that in your program, there's 3 bids coming in. We have suggested that at least one bid be from an Aurora contractor.
Okay.
And the other aldermen were able to, Alderman Masiakos also, were able to just add that in. They don't have to get all 3 from an Aurora contractor, of course, but at least one as they at least try and seek out business from an Aurora contractor. So I would hope we can make that change, and we can make it a friendly change, and we can go ahead and pass this now. But if you're agreeable to that, we can.
Absolutely.
And number 7, the applicant shall submit at least 3 bids for the project unless not feasible. So 3 bids, at least one being from an Aurora contractor for the project unless not feasible.
Can we call legal?
Yeah.
Deb? There's a request to add in number 7, if one of these 3 bids are from Aurora companies. Can we add that to the?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
We can have that.
Yeah, okay.
Thank
So
you, Ms.
if
Lang.
I have a question. So if it passes today, she can add it for cow and let it be as information only?
These programs end here.
Oh, they
Yeah.
end here.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that's why I said it needs to be a friendly amendment.
Okay.
And you accepted the friendly amendment that I offered, so, and our attorney okayed it, so we're good with the friendly amendment as it stands right there, yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, 4-0. Oh, yeah, the motion was from Alderman Barrero, second, Alderman Boone Wills.
And do I
So
vote for it?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
4-0.
Okay.
4-0. All right. All right. Do we
Motion
have
to adjourn.
anything else to come before the committee? I will say one comment possibly for our media people. We had animal control in today, so they needed to speak first, right at 3 o'clock. So the 25-0605 got moved to the first item. So our apologies. Ms. DeBoer had to get to another meeting, so she went first, and so that's the way the agenda got moved a little bit. So we get the motion to adjourn. Alderman Bade, second.
Second.
Alderman Burrell, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. We are adjourned at 3:41 p.m. Thank you, everyone.